Bayley has made her return and a lot of things are already being hinted at, so we'll see what's happening there. We'll also check out what's new for Lola Vice, AJ Lee, and more. Starting things off with Bayley and her big return. Prior to this week's Raw, Bayley has been missing from WWE television for a very long time. Her only appearances were through a series of pre-recorded interview segments that fully showcased that Bayley was dealing with a severe internal mental conflict. Bayley was basically stuck in the middle with an angel talking to her on one shoulder and the devil talking to her on the other shoulder. Bayley's good side was trying to tell her to be good because that's when she was the most successful, but Bayley's evil side thinks otherwise. It thinks Bayley had her most success when she was an evil person. So Bayley is completely mentally broken right now and doesn't know which side internally to listen to. Does she stay as a good person or does she tap back into the dark side again? The main topic of discussion that has this internal conflict so strong for Bayley at the moment is the year Bayley has had in 2025. She fully missed WrestleMania, SummerSlam, and other major events that took place this year. So that's what has Bayley so conflicted at the moment. She's viewing herself as a failure for 2025. She's trying to make a decision on what side she wants to go to, but it looks like Bayley hasn't made a decision quite yet, which is leaving her right now with a split personality type of character. After Lyra picked up a win over Roxanne Perez, Raquel Rodriguez jumped in the ring and started beating Lyra down. This led to Bayley's big return moment. Bayley comes flying down the ramp, making her first appearance since SummerSlam's situation, and saves Lyra from the attack. But almost right away, it's clear to see that Bayley still isn't fully okay. Her body language and gestures are clear signs that the voices in her head are still very much present and driving her insane. After battling with her inner thoughts for a second, Bayley snaps out of it and fully leans into her hugger persona. She hugs the commentators, the announcer, and even hugs some random fans at ringside before making her way back up the ramp. This return segment right here for Bayley showcased at least two sides of her multiple personalities. The first side that was displayed was 2025 Bayley, the side of Bayley that was close friends with Lyra and always cared for her as a friend. Bayley saw Lyra get attacked, so the 2025 version of Bayley led the way to save Lyra. But after the big save, the next side we saw of Bayley was most definitely her hugger side. She suddenly breaks into a big smile and hugs everyone in sight. That's clearly the NXT version of Bayley that momentarily took control of the steering wheel right there. And in a segment that happened later on in the night, we got to see a third side of Bayley. Lyra's standing outside Bayley's locker room and she can hear a three-sided conversation that Bayley's having with herself. 2025 Bayley, Hugger Bayley, and Heel Bayley are all having a conversation about what Bayley did earlier in the night of saving Lyra. Hugger Bayley tried to explain that Lyra needed their help. Heel Bayley was absolutely vivid and disagreed with saving Lyra. And 2025 Bayley tried calming the tension down between all the voices. There's suddenly a big thud against the door as if Bayley threw herself against it. And then everything went silent. Lyra knocks on the door and steps into the room to find Bayley calmly sitting on the couch, as if nothing happened, which understandably freaked Lyra out even more. Lyra tried thanking Bayley for her help, especially after the harsh things that she said to Bayley after SummerSlam. But during this moment, we see Heel Bayley fully take control of the steering wheel. Bayley lashed out at Lyra for barging her into a locker room without Bayley giving her any permission to come in. Bayley said that she could have been changing or could have had company in the room. Bayley called Lyra an idiot for doing that and stormed away. So no mystery here at all, that was definitely Bayley's heel side that made a big appearance for that entire duration of this backstage segment here. Especially with Bayley's usage of the word idiot, that was a big catchphrase of her heel self. So just more evidence that it was her heel side that was fully in control during that interaction with Lyra. So it's still very early in Bayley's return, a lot can still change, but it looks like the foundation for this new character was established right away on her first night back. Bayley is now a character with confirmed multiple personality traits. There's three sides of Bayley that can appear at any given moment: her ordinary 2025 self, which is a well-mannered, great caring person; her hugger self, which is an over-the-top happy babyface persona; and then her heel self, which is a big mix of her heel eras from both the Thunderdome days and her damage control days. So interacting with Bayley's character could become a bit complicated for Lyra and other superstars because you don't know which of the three faces you'll be talking to. Bayley could be normal, she could be too happy, or she could be too mean. That's the three sides of Bayley that people will be interacting with going forward. And as we already can see, this kind of gives Bayley a psychological edge over her opponent. Just look at Lyra for an example. Lyra is completely bugged out and freaked out over dealing with this new version of Bayley. One second, Bayley saving her. The other second, Bayley's yelling at her and calling her an idiot. So it may not be intentional from Bayley's character at the moment, but the whole act of having multiple personalities surely gives you an edge over rivals because they have absolutely no clue what your next move will be. And that's basically the situation right now with Lyra and Bayley. Lyra has no idea what Bayley's going to do to her next. And that fact may throw Lyra off her game for when it comes to dealing with this new version of Bayley. Something else that fans noticed was the fact that Bayley was rocking an AJ Lee shirt for her Raw return. That could have been Bayley just showcasing her happiness that her close friend was back in WWE. Or some fans wonder if Bayley was wearing that t-shirt to be some foreshadowing and an early teaser for possibly Bayley's next target once she's done with Lyra. Remember that both Bayley in real life and the hugger persona Bayley were big fans of AJ Lee. Hugger Bayley and AJ Lee interacted way back in the day of NXT, and for a second back then, it did look like they were potentially leaning to a whole narrative of Bayley becoming an obsessive fan of AJ Lee. Maybe something similar to the classic storyline between Trish Stratus and Mickie James. WWE never went all in on that narrative for Bayley and AJ, but it sure did seem like they were hinting at it back then. So now with AJ Lee back in WWE and Bayley's hugger persona revived as part of Bayley's split personalities, is it possible that the hugger side of Bayley becomes obsessed with AJ Lee again on Raw? That's a more low-key fan theory that's floating around right now, and it definitely seems like it can work. Maybe Bayley continues to lose control of her personas, and Hugger Bayley will be fully released and fully become crazy obsessed with AJ Lee. It'll be a nice way for Bayley and AJ to work together for the first time on the main roster, while also paying homage to their first ever match together well over a decade ago in NXT. So this new character direction for Bayley is looking very promising, and it's by far the most interesting Bayley has ever been as a character. So we'll have to wait and see what twists and turns could be coming up for Bayley. Lola Vice may have some family help on the way in WWE. Lola signed with WWE back in 2022 on a 3-year deal, and Lola's work over those 3 years was so incredible that she recently signed a multi-year extension with WWE. But according to new reports, another one of Lola's family members could be getting eyed by WWE. Reports are claiming that the company allegedly has interest in Lola's younger sister, Natalie. Natalie even responded to the reports herself on Instagram, saying that she was hoping that the rumor was true. So telling by Natalie's response to the report, if she gets a call, she'll surely accept the offer and hopefully joins forces with her sister in NXT. So keep an eye out for Lola Vice's sister potentially striking a deal with WWE in the foreseeable future. But what are your thoughts on today's stories? Leave your comments below. Don't forget to subscribe with all notifications on and leave a like if you enjoyed. Thanks for watching, guys.